Diana,
Okay, we are live.
bye-bye.
All right. So thank you all for coming tonight to the Ordinance Administration meeting for July 18th, 2022. Consistent with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. You're calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you're watching on a computer or device, there is a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options to be recognized to speak. On the call tonight, I'd like to recognize, as I look at the list, we have Councilor Grow, Councilor Majota, Councilor O'Hara, Councilor Nolan, our clerk Joanne Sinos, our mayor Greg Verger, Councilor Tony Gross, and we have Hannah Kimberly from the Human Rights Commission tonight. So with this being said, I'd like to go on with the first point of our agenda, which is new appointments, which would be for the Gloucester Economic Development Industrial Corp for Greta Seeley. Greta cannot be here tonight. I've read her resume. I've read some things in the ARPA situation. The EDIC is definitely wanting someone of her caliber. And without any objections from the committee, even though she cannot be here tonight, I would like to recommend to put her forward. She is under a 90-day appointment. So if Frank and Jamie don't have any issues with this, I'd like to put this forward.
No problem for me.
No objection.
All right. So by roll call, Jamie, would you like to read the motion?
Let's see here. Apologize. On a motion, a motion by the Ordinance Administration recommends that Greta Seeley be appointed to the Gloucester Economic Development term ending July 1st, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
And this is a roll call, and we'll start with Councilor O'Hara,
Yes.
Councilor Majota,
Yes.
and Councilor Nolan. Yes. Greta, if you can hear us, which you can't, thank you, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Mayor Verga.
Just want to, it's Gretel, as in Hansel and Gretel, not Greta. Just want to make sure the paperwork's correct.
It is Gretel.
Okay.
Little crumbs, find your way home.
Sean.
Joanne?
Okay, so her email says she was traveling, so I'm not sure if she'll be here next Tuesday. She didn't specify. She just said to the next O&A meeting, so I'm not sure whether she'll be able to appear at the city council meeting on the 26th. So I just want to comment on that.
Not a problem. If she can't make it for the 26th, we can always extend that. She is on a 90-day appointment.
Okay.
Thank you, Joanne. So next up, we have the Shellfish Advisory Commission with Stephen LeBlanc. Steve, are you here tonight?
No, he's not. He didn't respond to the email to appear. So I don't know if he just assumed because you knew him, he didn't have to come, but Sherry said he did not respond to the email.
All right. Steve's definitely well known to us. I talked to him about 2 weeks ago about this, and he's very excited to be on this committee. It does work with the harbor and the waterways board. So it is something that we can do. So I would be comfortable voting Steve LeBlanc forward on the Shellfish Advisory Committee without any objection from the other councils on O&A.
No objection.
No objections either.
Mayor Verga.
Yeah, I'm not objecting either. Just want to give my plug for Steve. So as you guys know, he's currently the chair of the Waterways Board. Steve had reached out to me because he had learned there was a vacancy on the Shellfish Committee. So I thought it was a good match for what he's currently doing. And he's a shell fisherman himself. So thank you guys for putting this forward in his absence.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Berger. I feel the same way. I think he's been involved with shellfishing, with clamming for a long time, and he knows the regulations and the committees that we have. So I think he'd be an asset to us. So with that being said, Councillor LeBlanc, Councillor O'Hara, do we have a motion?
Ordinance Administration recommends that the City Council appoint Stephen LeBlanc to the Shellfish Advisory Commission, term ending February 14, 2025, and I so move.
Second?
All right, and this will be a roll call. We'll start with Councillor O'Hara,
Yes.
Councillor Majota,
Yes.
Councillor Nolan, yes. Excellent, and I'm sure Steve will be around for Tuesday, and I'm sure he's up to date with his ethics and everything is good to go. So we'll move on to the next one. Excuse me, a little hoarse tonight. So we have a reappointment for Michael DeLisio for the
Alicio.
excellent. Thank you, Greg. It's a reappointment. He's out of the country right now. He's been on the committee, and the EDIC has been working very hard, expanding and moving in different directions to make things better for Gloucester. I have no problem recommending his reappointment without any objections from the committee.
No objection.
Excellent.
I'm good.
So this is by roll call. We would have a motion, Councilor O'Hara.
Ordinance Administration recommends that the City Council reappoint Michael DeLisio to the Gloucester Economic Development and Industrial Corporation, term ending July 1st, 2025, and I so move.
Second?
And by roll call, we'll start with Councilor O'Hara.
Yes.
Councilor Majota
Yes.
and Councilor Nolan, yes. So we look forward to hearing from it or voting for him again on Tuesday. Next up, we have in the Magnolia Woods Oversight and Advisory Committee, Jack Palazzola. I see Jack. How you doing tonight, Jack?
Don, we have a quorum of the council. Councilor Gilman just joined the meeting.
Excellent. Councilor Gilman is now online. Jack Palazzola, how you doing tonight?
Good. Can you hear me?
We can, loud and
Okay.
clear.
I wasn't sure.
So you're up for reappointment on the Magnolia Woods Advisory Committee. We've been a little stale on this committee, but we have a lot of good things coming up with the mayor's office and different signage and uses of the property that we're looking forward to. And I'm happy to see that you'd like to represent and stay on the committee.
Sure.
So if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, that'd be fine.
I think you all know me. I don't know
Yeah, I think it's
who I'm
better.
telling, who I am or what I did or who I was, but I have the store downtown. I live in Magnolia now, so it's another connection to the Magnolia Woods thing. Other than that, I thought you were going to ask me some questions. That's what-
Jack, how do you think the Patriots are going to do this year?
I think they'll do okay.
We're actually looking forward to getting a meeting together. I think that we have some situations with some signage and different things that we're working on. The actual closure with the DEP from the landfill to a full facility. I think that with COVID a little bit peeking behind us, I look forward to having regular meetings and finding out what we can do better the community. How about yourself?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We haven't met for a while, so look forward to some more meetings.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here tonight. So Councilor O'Hara, do we have a motion?
Certainly, I just want to thank Jack for his years of dedication to our city, and we look forward to his continued efforts to help our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ordinance Administration recommends that the City Council reappoint Jack Palazzola to the Magnolia Woods Oversight and Advisory Committee, term ending February 14, 2025, and I so move.
Second.
All right, this is by roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor O'Hara,
Yes.
Councilor Majota,
Yes.
and Councilor Nolan, yes. Jack, thank you for everything. It's a reappointment. I just have to ask, have you been up to date with the ethics test and have you been sworn in?
Have been, yes, both things.
Perfect. I look forward to having a meeting with you and getting things taken care of. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
All right, so next up, we are gonna go a little bit out of order, and we're gonna go from number 2 to number 8 for the City Council Civility Resolution, which has been referred back to O&A from the Human Rights Commission and continued from 6/6/22. We have Councilor Grow, who is the counselor on the order, and then we also have Hannah Kimberly here tonight to speak. So if you would, Hannah, if you want to bring us up to speed on where you guys are and what we're looking to do.
Sure. So the civility resolution is really just a reiteration that says we're not going to tolerate exclusionary behavior. And it will remind folks, I hope in a proactive way, that Gloucester is not a community that discriminates against people based on who they are. So we've clarified the language. Councillor Gross and Councillor Grow wanted us to change up a few things, which we've done. And I think it would be, it's an attitude that the city would be proud to adopt.
Okay, is there any discussion? Councilor Grow or Councilor Gross, would you like to chime in? Councilor Grow.
Yeah, I originally, when we first started, I asked this to be sent back to the Human Rights Commission to essentially kind of bulk it up a little bit, give it a little bit more meat and a little bit more clarity. And I think that is what's happened here. I mean, I think Hannah, if you want her to, she could probably give you a little history about why this came into effect in the first place. But consequently to that, we looked at a number of other resolutions regarding, the sort of expression of lack of tolerance for intolerant behavior, if that makes any sense. But the idea being that it really clearly tries to articulate, the values I think that the community holds or should hold, or at least we as elected officials and members of the police and other organizations ought to be holding in terms of our interactions with the community and the expectations of how we deal with a variety of different groups in the community that otherwise may be marginalized. And so I think that language has been put in there, and it also, we added in a little bit of about the issue of complaints. Now, the Human Rights Commission is not an enforcement agency. It doesn't have the authority to call a hearing or anything like that, but it did want to be a place where people could bring a complaint, and then with the hope and guidance of the commission to direct a person who may be dealing with an issue to the proper authorities to vet and come to a resolution, whether that's the police department, whether that's the mayor's office, whether that's the attorney general or the district attorney. I mean, there's a number of areas that have legitimate enforcement capabilities where, the Human Rights Commission doesn't have that by any set statute. So, but it wanted to say that we are here in case there's a problem, and we will do our best to help you find a way to find a resolution to that problem. And I think it just sort of made a little bit more again, beefed up what was originally there. And I think it just gives an overall more clarified view of what we should be heading towards as a community.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilor Grow. Is there any other questions from Ordinance Administration?
Councilor Noel?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Councilor O'Hara.
Sure, thank you. As Councilor Grow mentioned, this is, if you will, document of where we're headed. And I think this is just progression. 10 years ago, we thought we were right in par. 20 years ago, likewise. Probably 20 years from today, they'll be making modifications right along. So I think this is a document, and the verbiage within it is just, I think a lot of it, unfortunately, I use the word quote common sense. A lot of it's common sense. It's men being men and ladies being ladies and treating people with respect. So again, I just want to make that point known. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilor O'Hara. Councilor, would you like to?
Yes, I just want to piggyback on that. I just wanted to say thank you for, everyone continues to work on it, as I believe this is like us moving forward, and it's great to see us making changes. And like Councilor O'Hara said, we'll probably be updating this in 20 years from now, it's like that. But it's great. It's a great thing that we're doing. So thank you all for working so hard.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Frank. Joanne, you have your hand up?
Did you want me to share the document?
If you could share it. And before we share it, if I could I see that Council President Gilman has her hand up. And we may want to hear something she has to say as well.
Thank you. And yeah, I think it's great if Joanne could share it. So that's great. I just wanted to say that I was the counselor that kind of took this forward back when John McCarthy and former Mayor Safathia Romeo Taken pulled this together. And it was a time where things were pretty tense in the city and all over the country in terms of treating people with civility that might be in a class that felt vulnerable. I really think that this initiative was good, and I appreciate the work that Hannah Kimberly and the Human Rights Commission has spent. In fact, I attended one of their meetings to talk about this when Jen Holgram was on the commission. And so anyway, that's all I want to say. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Val.
Hear that now, or is anybody else going to speak on it? John?
If you want to present it, and if Hannah wants to take us through it, that would be excellent.
Oh, you're going to make me read aloud?
I am. I'm not going to make you. I'm going to ask you.
Okay, so this is the civility resolution draft of May 2022. 1, whereas the Gloucester community is a unique and special one with a long history, we recognize the need to work towards an inclusive and equitable community. 2, whereas in collaboration with the mayor and city administration, the city council is proud to continue our community spirit by honoring our commitments to inclusivity, equity, and safety for all of our community, especially those who have historically been discriminated against, ignored, or marginalized. 3, whereas any acts of violence, discrimination, or harassment do not reflect the values of the Gloucester community and will not be tolerated. We are committed to examining ourselves, our community, and to eradicating any instances of intolerance. 4, whereas it is the finding of the City of Gloucester that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity as a result of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental mental disability, family status, immigration status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. 5, whereas it is the policy of the City of Gloucester to uphold the human rights of all persons in Gloucester and the free exercise and enjoyment of any and all rights and privileges secured by the constitutions, laws, ordinances, and regulations of the United States, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the City of Gloucester. 6, whereas any such actions that may deny or tend to deny to an individual equal access or opportunity in matters of housing, employment, education, municipal services, contracts, purchasing, or public accommodations on the basis of age, ancestry, color, disability, family status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation, they are hereby prohibited. 7, whereas the Gloucester Human Rights Commission takes seriously all complaints and allegations regarding discrimination and human rights violations and will forward them to the city administration and, if necessary, to the proper legal authorities to investigate and resolve. 8, whereas the Gloucester Police Department is committed to taking all allegations seriously and will work diligently to investigate any claims of discrimination. Therefore, the undersigned agree to the tenets laid forth in this document.
Hannah, that was an excellent job. So, Joanne, if we can clear the screen of that. We do have the mayor online, and he's mentioned in this with the administration. Is there anything that Mayor Verga would like to add to what was just beautifully read by Hannah?
No, it was beautifully read. I think it was good. It like to Jason's point, it put a little more meat on over the previous last approved one, which goes back to, I think, 2019. So yeah, I think it covers it. I basically consider this the thou shalt not be a jerk policy. And so at least we have something in writing. You guys will vote and I will sign on to it. And the city will be making our position abundantly clear.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Mayor Verga.
Thank you, Mayor Verga. Is there any other questions from the ordinance committee? All right, having none being said, I think that we can actually waive the read-in of this, Council Harris. I think Hannah did an unbelievable job. And we can move on to the vote without any questions or comments on that. Are we all right with going forth with the reading of the minutes from Hannah?
No objection.
No.
All right. So, Councilor O'Hara, if you want to read the number 8, City Council civility referred back just for the motion and not where into the actual verbiage.
Sure. Ordinance Administration recommends that the City Council adopt the Human Rights Commission proposed amendments to the 2020 City Council Civility Resolution, and I so move.
Second?
All right, this will be a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor O'Hara,
Yes.
Councilor Majota,
Yes.
and Councilor Nolan. Yes. Hannah in the Human Rights Commission, thank you very much. We did have a really good one before. This one is just a little bit more in tune, and people are people. That's all we have to remember. There's no difference. We breathe and we eat, and everybody needs to be treated with equality. And I really appreciate your hard work.
Thank you.
Well said.
So this
Thank you.
does pass to go on to the full city council, 3-0. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you, Hannah, and have a great night. All right, so
Thanks.
now we're going to be going back, and we're going to go to number 2, which would be Nolan Gilman requests the Ordinance Administration Standing Committee review Chapter 21 Street Sidewalks in Public Places, Article 3 excavations continued from 6/6/22. I know where I stand, but I'd like to bring in Council President Val Gilman.
Thank you. This was the excavation.
That is correct.
Thank you. So I would, at this point, I would like to spend more time on actually doing more research on this and kind of do some best practices. We're also discussing this in the working group for private road repair because there is a connection to the excavation ordinance. So that being said, I would like to, without objection, to withdraw my order.
Excellent. And I also, as well, would like to withdraw this tonight as well. So without any objection from the committee, we'd like to withdraw CC 021-021.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.
No objection.
All right, excellent. I don't think we need to vote for withdrawal. All right, so we are now on to the next one. And I'd like to make another change, and I would like to move on to, sorry, I'm running around trying to look at different things. To number 9, to CC 2022-014 Gilman, amend the City Council Rules of Procedure by adding Rule 19, request to speak information to city staff. Without any objection for time constraints, I'd like to put this up to helpful to the mayor.
So do you want me to, we're talking about City Council 2022-014.
That is correct. So,
Okay.
Madam President, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I have the fan going and it's hard, and I'm sorry, our house is really, really hot, and I hope you can all hear me when I'm not muted.
Well,
So-
sorry, we have one fan.
I remember you having a fan back in the City Hall days, Councilor Nolan. I think Dana used to set it up for you because it was so hot. So I wanted to just refer back to our initial meeting when O&A took this up. And there were 2 suggestions that were made. One is they wanted to eliminate the council president from being copied on requests that might be forwarded. And I was just carrying on a request that former council president LeBlanc had. And I have no problem with that. And the other thing was that there was feedback that the comment about requests being made to city department heads, specifically, I had recommended it say any inquiry that can be answered in a minute or less. And there was consensus that perhaps it would be simplified if we just said answered in a short response or an email without research or simple yes or no answers. So just to get rid of that 1-minute thing. So what I did was I made those few corrections, and if I can ask, well, first of all, I think maybe we could kind of just walk through it, and then I'd really love to hear from O&A and also from Greg Berger, our mayor, who's here, which I appreciate, to kind of add any of his suggestions. So without objection, can we put this up on the screen, Joanne, my order?
I have no objections. Does anybody else in the committee have any objections?
No objection.
Thank you. And I did email you all my my little quickly edited version, so you can also follow along. Oh, you've got my little corrected version. Thank you. You're so good, Joanne. I appreciate it. So basically, this is rule number 19 that would just be added to our council rules of procedure. And it begins with, can you screen share again, Joanne? We're all back. Yeah. So it begins just by saying there are 2 ways to seek information from city staff. Number 1, request to the mayor, and I made one change there to be consistent with what you had all suggested. So just all requests must copy the mayor, comma, CAO, and the city clerk. And by deleting the council president. And then similarly on the next section, it says requests to the mayor can be submitted, first bullet, at the end of our city council meetings, or weekly if submitted to the clerk's office at the end of the day on Thursdays, or in the case of an urgent request, a councilor may submit an email request directly to the mayor, provided the city clerk is copied. So deleting city council president. And then the second part is a quarterly report of all weekly requests to the mayor is maintained by the clerk of committees and is submitted to the office of the mayor and city councilors. And then number 2, I just shortened this a little bit to be consistent with what you all had recommended at the last meeting. And specifically to delete where it says quick questions and just say requests to city's department head. Any inquiry can be answered in a short response or email without research or simple yes or no answers, and deleting with a short explanation. And that was basically the changes that were made. The other points on this was, which is probably worthy of at least reading, is we could eliminate, this is more prevalent for ward councilors who are follow-up city department question from a constituent. You all might like to delete that. That's fine. Whatever you all think. It's the council's responsibility to read up on GZO, a budget matter in question prior to reaching out to department head. That's kind of governance, but it was kind of a reminder that before we start calling city staff to ask them for answers on processes that we should know, we should do our homework first. So, and then finally, at the end, I just said quick questions can be submitted or asked via city email, which should copy the Director of Communications and Constituent Services, by office phone. Joanne, could you scroll up for me? Madam Clerk, could you scroll up for me on this? Or to the next page? Maybe I didn't submit the next page. And then it just said, after that, text should be last resort only in an urgent situation, to city-issued phone numbers only. Inquiries should be made during the work week unless it's an urgent matter. And then finally, councilors are reminded that the city clerk and city auditor are the only 2 positions that report to the city council. And those last things were not changes. They were just on the second page of the document. And I'm eager to hear what you all think, and to hear if Councilor Nolan asks the mayor to speak on behalf of this. So that concludes my order, and thank you for hearing me.
Excellent. Thank you, Council President Gilman. I'll move on to committee questions first. We'll start with Councilor Hara. Do you have any questions or comments to the changes or the motion in front of us?
Yes. I'll be straight up. I think it's somewhat ridiculous. We are city councilors, elected officials. We are also taxpayers of the city of Gloucester. So we wear 2 hats. Every city employee works for the taxpayers and the constituents of our city. I think that's important for all of us to be reminded, including myself. I am a servant of the people. As a taxpayer, again, every employee is a servant to me, a taxpayer of the city of Gloucester. We have the right to ask questions of department heads. Again, it's similar to the civility, human rights. It's common sense. I think all of us are reasonable people. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been elected. To ask a question related to, we are part-time employees. to understand the budget through and through. I'll be straight up. I don't know every cent. I don't think it's unusual to ask a department head a budget question. We do not have, I called Joanne, I called Grace. They are overburdened. They will have to kick back my question because the city clerk works for us, the city council. So again, I think a lot of this is common sense. I think we're spending time on issues that probably shouldn't be spending time. There are far greater issues, far more important issues that our taxpayers, our constituents deserve to have answered, that are problems in our city that aren't being addressed. This again resorts back to common sense. And again, I think all of this is it's great to have it in paper, but I think none of us, I know I do not abuse some of the department heads I've never spoken to. So when I make a call, similar to when I speak, I don't speak that much. I say very little. I select my words. I think about what I'm saying. Same with a call to a department head, employee, again, I think this is total waste of time. So again, I apologize. I tend to be candid, and I'm being candid right now. So thank you for asking me my questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilor O'Hara. We're going to move on to Councilor Majota. Do you have any questions or comments?
I guess my comment is has there been an abuse or departments has complained, have councilors like abused their power of getting information? And why is there such an issue if I just want to text or call someone like, hey, I really need this question answered or information? Why there's so many steps just to get a potentially quick answer from a department head? But I like how the fact that remove the council president from our request to the mayor. I think that was very important. And it's like Councilor Harris said, I think it's just being mostly it's just being respectful to all the department heads and people's time.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Councilor Majota. I will bring in Council President Gilman. She does have her hand up on this motion.
Yeah, and because it's my order, I think I can elaborate a little bit more with your permission, Councilor Nolan.
Go ahead.
Because we do have a quorum of the full committee, but it is my order. So one of the issues, Councilor O'Hara and Majota, is in our city charter, city councilors are in the legislative branch of government, and administration is in the enforcement branch. And the city charter outlines that we're not to meddle with city administration. So what we have to do is we always have to be mindful of the amount of time that we're taking from city administration, because we do appoint the department heads. And sometimes if we want to say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? And then an hour later, you're still talking to someone, that might get in the way of some of that department manager's results that they're trying to achieve for their department, for the mayor and the CAO. They have performance standards for that. And it's hard for them to turn us away when we want to go and a 5-minute conversation takes longer. So to Councilor O'Hara's point, it is just kind of something that's in writing. I'd like to see it in our rules of procedure. But it's really just to respect the city charter and how we're supposed to govern, and make sure that we're not trying to get too deep into the enforcement area without going through the mayor's office. And that's my 2 cents. And, we'll be discussing this again at full committee. And I appreciate you letting me explain that. So thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilor Gilman. I think that we have a few issues that are a little bit different. We do have a city charter, and it basically says that we're legislative and that the mayor is administrative. But it's also not a town. It's not a town meeting. And people do elect us to answer their questions that they can't be answered. So sometimes there are situations where we have to use our office to find out what's going on, to maybe reach a decision, or to ask someone the tough question to get an answer for the public, because we're representatives of the city to the public. So it's a little bit different the way the charter is written. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but there's nothing we can do about that until 2030. I think that the way we conduct our business with the administration's approval is being able to speak to our department heads. If it's abused, it's abused, but you still have a right as a taxpayer as well to do the same thing. The only difference is that us as being counselors, we're the voice of a group of people that are looking for answers. So sometimes it may not be a pleasant call, it may not be a short call, but I would expect everybody to respect the office that the department head has, their time, and be an adult and work with things on a diligent manner to get them done, and also on a timely manner. So it's a different law because it is in our charter that we have a law. Things go through the administration, through Mayor Verga. But B, we also, it's 2022 and we're a council, not a town. And we do have to find a way of getting to people. So I look forward to this being in front of the full council. I do like the amended version from Councilor Gilman, and I would like to hear from Mayor Verga if you'd like to chime in.
Sure. Well, first of all, this isn't my order, and so, but that being said, the charter was written in 1975. There was no such thing as cell phones. So the managers report to me, they report to Jill, and then you add on 9 city councilors where they could be getting texted and calls throughout the day. The old days, you call their office. If they're not in, you leave a message. Now they could be out in the middle of their job and they're getting calls and texts. And I have no problem with you guys, especially just calling or texting and saying, hey, manager, I've got a question about this or that or the other thing. The concern is when there's a directive. Can you compile this information for me? Can you prepare this report for me? Can you do X, Y, Z? Me, Jill, 9 of you, that's 11 people that could potentially be interrupting the workflow for any manager. So it is common sense, having things in writing helps give it a little more oomph. Up to you guys, not telling you what to do. I just would say, try not to call these people unless it's, something you think you can handle quickly. An email might be a better thing if it's something that you need a little research done, but it's nice to keep us in the loop, myself or Jill, because, if we have them on a task and then they get in other tasks coming in from multiple city councilors, that really doesn't help the flow of business for the day. So I would just urge you to, nobody has abused it on this screen. So I don't think there's a problem, but it's not just for this council, it's for the next council and councils after. And, I'm not looking to run an autocracy. I just want to make sure that we do things as efficiently as possible. And that's all I ask.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Verga. So at this point, we do have a motion in front of us. Councilor O'Hara, are you able to read that with the adjustments on the removing of the president and the 1 minute situation?
Sure. Let's see. Ordinance Administration recommends that the City Council amend the City Council Rules of Procedure 2021 by adding Rule 19, request to seek information from city staff. There are 2 ways to seek information from city staff. I can read the entire if you'd like.
If you wouldn't mind just actually reading the.
I'll read the entire.
Okay.
Request to the mayor, any request that requires department heads to run custom reports, spend time to research an issue, or to meet with the city council on a specific matter. All requests must copy the mayor, CAO, city clerk, council president. Requests to the mayor can be submitted.
Are we gonna
At the-
strike the council president?
Excuse me?
We voted, we're looking to strike or remove that the request go through the city council president.
Okay. Requests to the mayor can be submitted at the end of the city council meeting, or if submitted to the city clerk's office at the end of the day on Thursdays, or in case of an urgent request, a councilor may submit an email request directly to the mayor, provided the city clerk, council president are copied. A quarterly report of all weekly requests to the mayor is maintained by the city clerk, the clerk of committees, and is submitted to the office and the councilor. 2, quick question to the department head. An inquiry that can be in a minute or less without research, a simple yes or no answer with a short explanation. This is more prevalent for ward councilors who have a follow-up city department question from a constituent. It is council's responsibility to read up on the GCO, and/or budget matters and questions reaching out to a department head. Quick question can be submitted or asked.
Council O'Hara,
Yes.
you're breaking up a little bit. Council Gilman on the inquiry that read it again.
I can't hear with that noise in the background. There's some noise or
Hold on.
thank you. I'm sorry that it's humid.
No, I'm sorry. It's my antiquated house. I bet every one of you has air conditioning except for me.
All right,
So do-
O'Hara was broken up. So Council Gilman, if you could just add the 1 minute or less to that for the motion.
Right, and in addition to deleting council president in the 2 spots above. So thank you. So we're going to amend quick questions to be requests. So we want to delete quick questions and add request to city department head. Any inquiry that can be answered in a delete minute or less and add short response or email without research or simple yes or no answers. Delete with a short explanation. Delete, this is more prevalent for ward councilors who have a follow-up city department question from a constituent. Now I'm continuing. It is the councilor's responsibility to read up on the GCO, or budget matter in a question prior to reaching out to department head. Quick questions can be submitted or asked via city email, which should copy the Director of Communications and Constituent Services by office phone. Text should be the last resort, only in an urgent situation, to issued city phone numbers only. Inquiries should be made during the work week unless it's an urgent matter. Councilors are reminded the city clerk and the city auditor are the only 2 positions that report to the city council. And that is it. So I will not move it or vote it because I'm not on the subcommittee. So thank you.
Councilor O'Hara, the fan noise I thought was interference from your phone.
Yes.
I'm sorry to butt in like that, but we really couldn't hear it, but it ended up being Val's one fan. And I just wanted to make sure that you heard what she said and ask you if you're all right with putting this forward.
Yes. Yeah. I'm prepared to vote on it. Yes. Not a problem.
Excellent. So do you move this?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilor O'Hara. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. So this would be by roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor O'Hara.
No.
Councilor Mojoita.
Yes.
Councilor Nolan, yes. Thank you all. Thank you, Greg, for being here tonight for this. And this will obviously be brought up for City Council full vote. And we're ready to move on to the next order of business, which is getting a little bit confusing because we've gone out of order a few times, but I think we can handle it. I believe that we are going to move on to number 3, which is Gilman, Nolan, Memhard, order that the city council audit and amend the GZO to be consistent with new resident parking regulations adopted by the city council on May 25th, 21st. This is something that I think that we're going to want to continue for 1 month. We have some conflicting resolutions with what's happening with city things that we're working on private roads, and mostly everything that we have to do on this isn't going to be affected until next calendar year by rights and what's happening. So without any objection, Joanne, I'd like to put this off for 1 more month.
Okay, so we either have, it'll be August 15th for the August meeting.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
All right, and for number 4, we have special city council permit 2022-003, O'Hara O'Neill, amend GCO chapter 21, street sidewalks and other public places, section 219, removal of snow from sidewalks, and section 2120, removal or covering of ice and sidewalks by deleting section 2119 and section 2120 and adding sections 21, 19, 21, 20 reserved. This has been referred back to us. It continued from June 6th, 22. Councilor O'Hara, you have the floor. This is something you've done with Councilor O'Neill. Are you ready to go along with this, or is this something you want to have some more information on?
I think we've looked at this. I've discussed it with the administration. I just don't think at present time our present administration is interested in modifying this archaic ordinance. It reverts back to pre-1909. It's a safety issue. The foot traffic public, it's clear, you know, we're in July, no one's thinking snow, but in another few months, unfortunately, we'll have snow on these same sidewalks, and our senior citizens, people in wheelchairs, people, just normal people, will be out walking, and they'll be walking in the streets. So we're trying to be progressive. We've looked at 9 amendments, increasing the population in the city, residents in the city, and this is all part of being progressive, making it a walking community. Well, you can't walk on a sidewalk with 3 or 4 feet of snow on it. So with that, I'm interested in just removing this. Possibly we'll have to wait for more constituents to be complaining, and then the timing might be better, where we'll get a more favorable consideration from, again, the present administration. It's a safety issue, but we've had safety issues that have gone unnoticed, unaddressed, and sadly, this is just another one. So with that said, I'd like to remove this from this meeting and going forward.
Excellent. Joanne, would you remove this from our agenda, please?
So Councilor O'Hara, you were withdrawing your order.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. With no objection from the other O&A committees, correct, members? Okay. I see the mayor would like to speak.
Mayor Verga, please go on.
Yeah, I just don't want any misconceptions out there about this. I mean, we've talked about this a number of times. I have no objection. The council can vote, do whatever they want. I mean, it's not enforceable as is, asking people to come to shovel their sidewalks. Just the fact that the city is not going to be shoveling sidewalks regardless. So it'll continue to be the way it is. Those who shovel will continue to shovel. Those who refuse to shovel will continue to refuse to shovel. And the city will do the ones that we've always done, you know, near bus routes and other key areas. So I don't want it to make it look like the city is soft on safety. That's just, frankly, a bit offensive.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Verga. So next up, we have number 5, 22-017, Majota, amend chapter 22, section 22, 270, parking prohibited at all times, in section 22, 291, tollway zone by adding Hovey Street southerly side, beginning at its intersection with Sumner Street at a westerly direction to its intersection with Babson Street. Councilor Majota, the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you. I also have if it's possible, a constituent to also speak, if that's possible during this meeting as well, because she's had issues, and this is why we sort of got to where we are. If not, I'll speak in behalf. Going in the westerly direction, if cars are parked on both sides, it is very dangerous. It's very hard to pass. And I also, with Robert Ryan, and when we're looking at this particular area about a month ago, I mean, he noticed it firsthand. And so it's been a safety issue for people traveling. It really narrows down to one way. And I feel that by putting the no parking, it will be helpful for the street. And because there is no sidewalks on one side, it's just a really safety issue of people walking the street. So this is the best way to do it. And it also helps with minimizing damage that has been done by parking on the western side to a few residents, because there's no sidewalks. Cars do park very close to their property and have damaged fences and other things. So I'm strongly for this. I believe that it's a safety issue, and it's safer for people and cars.
Excellent. Thank you, Council Majota. Joanne, if you could pull Bob Ryan in as a panelist.
Sure.
Hi, Bob. How you doing tonight? Bob, are you available?
I am available. There we
How
go.
you doing? There you are. You look good.
I didn't wear my dress shirt tonight.
That's all right.
Anyway,
You've actually been pretty busy the last 4 or 5 days with the council on different things going on.
yes, a lot transpiring. Yes.
Yes. So tonight we're talking to Frank
Yes.
about Hovey Street, and I know that you had visited this. And your recommendations on this was to, I believe, support that.
I fully concur with Frank had said. We visited the site on a couple of different occasions. With cars parked on both sides of Hovey Street, beginning at its intersection with Summer, a car cannot go down the center of the road. So I think for safety, primarily for safety, we eliminate parking on the westerly side of Hovey all the way to Babson Street. And I think that will alleviate a lot of problems or mitigate a lot of problems.
Excellent. Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
If you could stick on, we do have a few more resolutions that involve you.
Yes, more than happy.
Email, but we always like to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely.
Horse, but is there any other questions from the committee members?
No, I just want to thank Bob Ryan. His interest and continued support and expertise in city issues is unmatched. And I honestly, I can't say enough about what Bob has done to make the city a better place, a safer place. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Councilor O'Hara. Thank you.
Councilor Majota, you said that you had a constituent that may want to speak tonight. Is she in attendance or he in attendance?
She is in attendance, and she is no longer in attendance. So I don't know what happened. I don't see her name anymore.
All righty. So I believe that we have the gist of this.
Okay.
Councilor O'Hara, do we have a motion?
Yes, the city council, O&A recommends that the city council amend GCO chapter 22 traffic and motor vehicles, section 22-270, parking prohibited at all times by adding Hovey Street, Studley, beginning at the intersection with Summer Street in a westerly direction to its intersection with Babcock Street, and GCO section 22-291 tollway zone by adding Hovey Street, Sudley side beginning at its intersection with Summer Street in a westerly direction to its intersection with Babson Street, and ISO move.
Second.
All righty, and this will be by roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor O'Hara.
Yes.
Councilor Majota.
Yes.
Councilor Nolan, yes. So that passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Bob, if you could stick around for a little bit, that'd be awesome. So we have number, excuse me, yes.
Okay, so I just want to comment that this traffic amendment will need a public hearing. So that will not be on until the August 9th City Council meeting for a public hearing, because the next week's meeting, it will be, we don't have enough time to advertise for a public hearing.
Excellent. Thank you, Joanne. So next up, we do have number 6, City Council, number 20.
Counselor, I'm sorry. I think Nicole, who wanted that Frank was ready to speak, might have come back on. I know I shouldn't be interrupting your meeting, but I just want to just mention that she did.
All right. It's up to you, Councilor Majota, if you want to suspend rules of procedure and pull her in after a vote.
I would like to, yeah, I mean, we voted in favor. She has stuck on for the past hour, so I would like to suspend the rules of procedures to have her speak.
Not a problem. Joanna, can you pull her in, please? Hi, Nicole. How you doing tonight? Nicole, can you hear us?
Sorry, now I forgot to unmute myself.
That's not a problem. Council Majota has presented his case for you, and it has passed through Ordinance Administration to go to full council in August. Is there anything you'd like to add to this or to say to Frank?
Well, I would just like to thank Councilor Majorta for, he came by and met with me when I had sent him an email and responding, and I've actually been trying to request this for probably 3 years now. The prior counselor, I had emailed and called the city and asked for his contact information, and he never actually got back to me. But I think Frank covered everything. The issue is that on the southerly side of Hovey Street, all of the property lines back up to the street. So there technically really isn't space for cars to park on that side of the street. And it is a very tight street. So there has been, not only damage to our particular property in terms of our fence because of these issues, but also it poses a safety hazard because the street's not wide enough. So if you have 2 cars, one coming down and one going up, one has to pull to the side in order to allow the other car to go up the street. You can't have 2 cars going simultaneously down the street. So then when you have people parking on one side of the street where there really isn't any parking, it just poses safety issues. And about a month ago, it was a tow truck trying to get down the street, and it actually damaged a car that was parked on one side of the street accidentally because the street really is not wide enough to provide for the traffic flow.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicole.
Sure.
Frank did an excellent job with this. We had pictures. The Traffic Commission with Bob Ryan got involved, and Hopefully the end result is what you're looking for. It will be in front of the full council in August, and have a great night.
Yes, I really appreciate your help. Thank you very much. Thank you, Counselor Majota and Bob.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Excellent. So now we're going to move on to number 6, which is CC 22018. O'Neill, amend GCO Chapter 22, Section 22-284, service or loading zone by adding Prospect Street on the southerly side across from its intersection with Taylor Street, one space in front of the entrance of 133 Prospect Street. Councilor O'Neill cannot be with us tonight. Councilor O'Hara, is this something that you'd like to speak on, or would you like to continue this, or do you want to refer back to Bob Ryan for what their findings were in traffic?
Yes, I'd like to open by asking Bob Ryan to speak on this, please.
I'd be more than happy to. Gentlemen, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I've met with Tracy on several occasions. Also, Mr. Bob Alves, the president of the DES Club, and Mr. Jerry Burke. As you know, the DES Club has quite a bit of activity going on, from the sale of sweetbread. They have private parties, they have wedding receptions, and so forth. In order for the vendors to make deliveries in a safe manner, they need some type of, rather than double parking on Prospect Street directly in front of Our Lady Good Voyage Church. As we know, it's pretty tight there to begin with. They are asking for a service loading zone in order for the vendors to be able to pull in, make their deliveries, and then leave. I think it warrants it. There's adequate room there for a loading zone or service area, and the Traffic Commission fully supports it, unanimously supports the order.
Excellent. Thank you, Bob Ryan.
You're welcome.
We'll go back to Councilor O'Hara. Is there anything you'd like to add to this?
No, I think Bob mentioned that the necessity, just it's long overdue that the DES Club receiving their deliveries and not having it becomes a safety issue with double parking, as we all know, in front of Lady Good Voyage, DES Destino Sub Shop. There's a lot of traffic, and to try to improve on the safety, this is a means of doing just that. Unfortunately, we will lose valuable parking space or two, but I think the safety of the overall public has to be considered in this order. Thank you.
Excellent. Council Majorita, is there anything you'd like to add to the discussion?
No, just thank you to Bob Ryan. Honestly, when you call him or whatever or email him, he's very responsive and very knowledgeable of the area, so it's very helpful. So thank you. So I definitely trust his judgment.
Thank you, councilors. Very complimentary this evening.
And they do run a good
Appreciate
meeting, and it's very entertaining.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So with that being said, Councilor O'Hara, do we have a motion?
Certainly. Ordinance Administration recommends that the City Council, amend GCO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicle, Section 22-284, Service or Loading Zone by adding Prospect Street southerly side across from its intersection with Taylor Street, one space in front of the entrance of 133 Prospect Street, and I so move.
Second.
Excellent. And this will be a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor O'Hara.
Yes.
Councilor Majota?
Yes.
Councilor Nolan? Yes. The motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Joanne, this will be up for full city council, and do you want to give us a date?
It will be advertised for the August 9th city council meeting for a public hearing.
Excellent. Thank you, Joanne. So next up, wow, Majota again. Oh, traffic. So this will be CC 2022-019, Majota, to amend GZO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-269, stop intersections by Ed Glenmere Road at its intersection with Wilf Hill Road. Frank, if you just want to give us a little bit of background on this?
Yes, again, it's just, again, with Bob Ryan, it's just another safety issue. Cars can go pretty fast down that road. And I think before an accident happens or someone gets very seriously injured, a stop sign is the best way to go. It's just, again, another safety issue. And speaking to a majority of the residents in that area a few months ago, they all really want a stop sign there.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilor Majota. Councilor O'Hara, do you have any other questions, or would you like to go to Robert Ryan from the Traffic Commission?
I welcome Bob Ryan's comments and advice. Thank you.
Again, councilors, at our meeting on June the 30th, it was unanimous. The commission felt that a stop sign was warranted. Wolf Hill Road is the primary road, and the secondary is Glenmere. Again, having people stop on Glenmere before they proceed on the Wolf Hill. Again, like the council has said, it's a safety issue, and we fully support it. That's it.
Thank you, Bob, again, for everything. So this is by Councilor, Joanne Sanis.
Okay, so this matter was inadvertently put on the O&A agenda. The stop signs are under the jurisdiction of the Traffic Commission. I think back in 2014, they gave handicap parking and stop signs the jurisdiction of the Traffic Commission and doesn't have to be voted by O&A.
Well,
Is that correct, Bob?
I would have to say that
That's correct. That's correct. I was deferring to you, Joanne, to make that statement. But again, I want to take the opportunity to thank Sean, Jamie, and Frank, all of you, and particularly Joanne for everything that she does. It's all working together. We get things done. And again, Joanne, I appreciate all you do. I really do. And thank you, councilors, also. We all work together, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Again, this does not have to have a vote, which is great, and hopefully it'll be resolved and Mike will get a sign up there. Bob, you and your commission is just a wonderful thing to work with. Whenever I'm in front of you guys, I look forward to it. So thank you for your advice and hard work.
We have a great crew.
You do. You really do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, DPW, police department, fire department, an attorney. A good group, it really is.
Is he still an attorney?
Pardon me?
Is he still an attorney?
Yes, he is.
That was more of a joke.
Very pick and chooses what he wants to do, though.
All right, excellent. Bob, thank you for everything, and
You're welcome.
enjoy your evening. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so next up, I believe after all this back and forth, we're on to number 10, which is CC number 2022-021 Gilman Grow, to amend the City Council Rules of Procedure, Rules number 2, Order of Business, by inserting a new subsection 2, non-discrimination statement opener for City Council meetings. I'd like to open up the floor with Councilor Gilman and then Councilor Grow.
Thank you, Councilor Nolan. Madam Clerk, could you, with the permission of Councilor Nolan, screen share the last page of the packet so we can see, so we can visualize this?
Yeah, I didn't download the packet because I didn't know I was doing the meeting tonight. So I don't have that.
Okay.
Screen share. Oh, yeah, I can screen share.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor.
I think. Let me figure it out here. Give me a second. You talk and I'll find it.
Okay. So this was something that the Human Rights Commission met to discuss because they felt that in our council meetings, it would be beneficial to have a statement that would be read into the record at the beginning of a meeting. And specifically, it orders that the City Council Rules of Procedure we add rule number 2, which is order of business, and insert a new subsection under number 2, which is a non-discrimination statement opener for city council meetings. Any success, Councilor Grow?
Yeah, I'm here. Hang on 1 second here.
Okay.
I've never done this before, so share.
See the green share.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
I see it. It's just I got to go through my little.
With the
procedures here.
documents on your desktop, you can.
Yep.
pull it up.
Yep. I have to do my privacy settings. Sorry. Zoom. I'm
I'd
a
be
very
happy.
secure site. There we go. I got it now. Okay.
We believe in you, Jason. You can do it.
We do. And Council Gilman, we do have it in front of us if you want to start discussing.
Okay, that's fine. So why don't I just read it for now? Then we can just put it up on the screen so the public can visualize it. It is the finding of the City of Gloucester that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity because of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental mental disability, comma, family status, comma, immigration status, comma, gender identity or expression, comma, military status, comma, marital status, comma, national origin, comma, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. In this vein, we as city councilors do not condone language that is discriminatory or offensive and will not accept it at city's meeting. And that's all. So that's what the Human Rights Commission came up with. And this is the first time that we've taken a look at this recommendation from one of our volunteer boards.
All right. So Councilor Grow, would you like to add to that?
He's not on the call.
Jason got bounced off, maybe trying to find his desktop document.
Well, we still have Bob, but Bob looks good.
It's
Councilor,
nice to see you.
is there anything Councilor Harrod likes to speak about on this motion?
I agree with the context of the statement, but I disagree that it should be read into every meeting. Our meetings are far long enough. We are professionals. We are elected officials. I just, again, the context I support 100%, but I think reading it into the minutes, I think is unnecessary. Again, we are elected officials. We act professionally. I don't see any reason why this phrase, which I support 100% and I abide by 100% now. I don't need to be told each and every minute. I don't think the public needs to hear it each and every meeting. So again, the intent I support, but the reading into each and every city council meeting, I think is unnecessary.
All right.
Thank you.
Jason, I will come back to you. I'll go to Council Majota first.
That's fine. I apologize for the technical incompetence.
No, you're trying to help us out. Council Majota.
Like I think it's a great, we are, I think it's maybe a few minutes longer in a particular meeting just to say the statement. I have no issues. I know that we're all professionals and we should be treating people with respect and shouldn't have any issues, but I don't see this adding much more time to our meeting. So I have no objection to it.
All right. And now we have Councilor Grow back, and he's one of the sponsors of this, so I'd like to give him the floor.
Yeah, again, I apologize for goofing that up. I'd never let my security settings share my desktop before, because I have all sorts of really sensitive stuff up there. I only came in on the tail end of Councillor O'Hara's comments. You know, we do the Pledge of Allegiance every meeting, and I pretty much know that Pledge of Allegiance pretty much by heart. We do it as a gesture to our commitment to upholding the responsibilities of our office to uphold the Constitution. It takes a minute or two. This is a sentence that takes a minute to read and is a visual and oral reminder to the community, anybody who might be joining us for the first time, that we take these issues seriously, that we take it seriously enough to say it every 2 weeks for 1 minute at a time, that we are not going to be a community that lets this just fall away. And I appreciate that our meetings can get long sometimes, but you know, we spend a good half of our meeting commending people for the work they do, and that's all great. I appreciate that. But if we wanted to get into time management on our meetings, I can find some pretty serious places to do some cutting. I think when we tell the community that we are committed to an air of inclusivity and a rejection of intolerance to various groups in our community, I don't think that's time poorly spent. And I would say that adding a little bit of time at the beginning of each meeting to reaffirm that is a message to the community that says this is important. We believe it's important. We believe it's just as important as the Pledge of Allegiance, and we can manage to accommodate it in our biweekly meetings.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Grow. Hearing all that needs to be heard tonight, I do believe it's important. It is a paragraph. It's something that we just put forward through in our own agreement that we'll uphold. I have no problem with this motion, and I have no problem with it being read at the meetings. I would like to actually point out the fact that when we do Zoom meetings, we haven't been doing the Pledge of Allegiance. We've only done them at the library.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I would actually like to see that, whether we could have a flag or something in someone's background, like Councilor O'Hara, and possibly bring that back, that we do the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of the meetings, and there's some sort of representation of the flag. But I do support this reading. I think it's important. It's a small piece. It does take a minute. It does take a little bit of time, but I think that it does acknowledge where we stand and the turbulent times of today. I think it's important that we let everybody know that they matter. Councillor Gilman, I do see your hand up.
Sure. So very quickly, I just used my stopwatch on my phone, and I spoke to myself reading it, because either me or Councillor Nolan would be the ones reading it. And it took me 24 seconds to read the paragraph that they're recommending. So it's much less than a minute. And so I just wanted to just add that to the record, 24 seconds.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Gilman. So with that being said, we do have a motion on the floor. Councillor O'Hara.
Ordinance Administration Committee recommends that the City Council Rules of Procedures 2021 by adding a new subsection 2, non-discrimination statement opener for the City Council meetings, to read as follows. It is the finding of the City Council, the City of Gloucester, that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity because of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental, mental disability, family status, immigration status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. In this vein, we as city councilors do not condone language that is discriminatory or offensive and will not accept it at city meetings. And I so move. Further ordered that rule number 2, order of business, be renumbered accordingly. And I so move.
Second.
All right, this will be by roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor O'Hara.
Again, I want to stress, I support the language, but I don't support that this should be read at every meeting. So no.
Councilor Majota,
Yes.
Councilor Nolan, yes. So this passes 2 in favor, 1 opposed, and this will be in, I guess, August as well, Joanne?
No, these are council rules of procedure, so we'll come under the committee report of O&A on Tuesday night for a vote.
Excellent. Thank you very much. If, without objection, Pamela Steele has had her hand up for quite some time, and I know it's a committee meeting and we don't really take input, but in fairness, she's kind of a regular and been sticking around, so I don't really know what she's here to talk about, but without any objections, I would ask if we could just let her in and have a say in something.
No objection.
I'm for it.
Joanne, could you bring Pamela Steele in? Hi, Pam. How you doing tonight?
Good, thank you. What happened was my cousin is Nicole, and she was in a total panic because she wanted to speak and her computer went down. So she asked me to call in because she appreciated so much all the work Frank did for her.
Excellent. Pamela,
She
thank
got
you.
on, so everything was great. But thank you. That was really nice of you to bring me back on.
Well, that's what we do. We look to
Yes,
see what's
thank you.
happening.
And I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Pamela.
You're welcome.
I believe that concludes everything, Joanne.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all for being here tonight. It was a little bit confusing. We're taking things out of order. Bob, Ryan, thank you very much. Councilor Gross, Grow, and Gilman for being here. I want to thank the mayor for being here tonight as well. So without any further ado, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, with that, this will be by roll call vote. We'll start to Councilor O'Hara,
Yes.
Councilor Majota,
Yes.
Councilor Nolan, yes. It's 3 in favor, 0 opposed to adjourn. Everybody have a great night and thank you all for coming.
Good night, everyone.
Good evening and thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.